30 to 50% of all the watches in the market are being made in China. It's not only watches, it's with every design, like be it bags, be it jewelry, be it anything. What have you been paying for all this while? Now, with the confidentiality clause removed, they are going to give you premium quality at 70% off the market rate. I have clients saying, oh, I never wear fake. And then I see them wearing Chanel plastic pearls and the Chanel brooches. That's not gold and that's not real diamonds. This synthetic stuff. You're wearing something fake just because Chanel has slapped a logo onto it. Apparently, even those things are being manufactured in China.
Welcome to another episode of the Jewellery Pod. I'm so excited to do this. Literally no time left with so much ongoing left, right and center. US tariffs, China exposing so many luxury brands for their IP agreements and people going rogue. And the number of people coming to UAE just to check the probability of manufacturing and finishing their jewelry and re-export it to US is unimaginable. Without doing further ado, I would really love to welcome again Azzal, who has been amazing. She's already killing it with her Instagram and she's Dubai-based entrepreneur. If you don't know her from our last podcast, you need to check out the last podcast. Link is in the description. And let's start a new conversation about what's all happening around us. Hi Azzal, welcome to the Jewellery Pod again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to have a chat with you.
How ready you are with current scenario of business and how everything is happening. I don't know if I should use word unfold because it's more than unfolding happening.
It's a collapse.
Yeah.
So you think things are falling out of place and to fall back into place. This is what I think what's happening. Truth and transparency. I think this is the year of truths. Just truths.
Just because we don't go out of the context, I really want to just summarize and have main discussion about tariffs, how China is literally exposing all the brands. And if really Italy is just doing the bare minimum to sustain their legacy, because we really need to talk. I have some first-hand insights from my travels to Italy, not to these luxury houses, but other jewelry houses that do produce jewelry for them. For all these years, I was like, okay, I was just having this fact known that luxury brand jewelry is being made outside, but I really never felt a need to, bring it up. I would love to know from you, how do you think that these Chinese brands going to really hamper these brands? Every third reel on the TikTok is about...
They're also giving you the factory links
Yes.
so you can purchase the stuff.
I really doubt if that's true, but what's your take on this?
So I think this is China's response to the tariff that the US has imposed on them. And China is refusing to play now. So they've come out with this. They've nullified the confidentiality clause. I'll tell you, there could be some truth to this from my personal opinion because Azzallure started making watches and I have my factory in Hong Kong. And for the longest time, my factory, they're Chinese as well. So they wanted me to move my factory to China so that I could reduce my costs. But me being me said, I don't want to put that made in China branding on it. So I kept it with Hong Kong for that reason. And now I'm like, what a fool. I'm an absolute fool. So when I wanted to make the watches, I had to pick the mechanism. Went there, I got introduced to factories and they said, we're making all the high-end Swiss-made watches. Because they told me I could make my watch Swiss-made. And I'm like, how does that happen? So then they got me through the entire thing where all the assembly, like you think you're having a Swiss-made watch, it's even being assembled there.
Yeah.
It just goes back to Switzerland. They put maybe a rotor in it, which is more than 60% of the entire cost of it. And then they slap on Swiss made. And I was pretty gobsmacked. I was like, could I talk about this? Because they were like, no, these are confidentiality clause. We cannot tell you. So it's the same factory, the same workers, the same. So I was privy to this 3 years ago. And I don't know. I mean, it's just now coming to the open. So that's the reason why I'm talking. So yes.
Rightly so. I will not name the brand. This was right after Vicenza. So, there's twice a year they hold really beautiful exhibition of jewelry. So, and it's really important for the jewelry industry across the world. After Geneva, because Geneva show is not everyone's cup of tea. And I'm talking about commercial jewelry.
I agree.
So, after that visit to the Vicenza show, we were escorted by one of the manufacturers to their factory just to see the setup. For my surprise, I was like, I'm seeing 2 to 3 layers of trays in a rack with,
Okay.
I will not name the brand again, and I was quite shocked. And out of curiosity, I could not hold myself back and asked, "Oh, so you're doing copies as well?" They said, "No, we're not doing copies. We're not doing copies, but they are outsourcing with us." So that's my understanding of luxury as in 2025, that the mass consumption is so much, honestly, to these jewelry houses, or you say these luxury houses might be starting or might be manufacturing within their own vicinity quite some time back. But with how everyone wants to own it, everyone wants to flaunt it, it's really
It's
hard
the
to keep
growth.
that commercial part of the luxury.
I think the growth in demand, I'll tell you this. It's simple. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but no one can produce like the Chinese. So you wonder why you don't get premium stuff at China, because they've already tied up confidentiality clauses with the high-end brands.
Mhm.
So when they need to make something, they cannot make it as great as that, because
Mhm.
they've got a clause there. They could be slapped with a case. So they'll make something which is not as perfect
Mhm.
as what they can make. So this is the problem. And I've realized this because the jewelry that I can churn out from Hong Kong,
Yeah,
no one can make that kind of jewelry, that quality of jewelry for me.
I understand.
Nobody. So I do understand that they make the best jewelry. And it just makes sense. Let's say I'm thinking from a high brand perspective. My demands are growing. Earlier, I would make just 10,000 Bulgari. I don't know whether Bulgari is doing this, but Cartier, I've seen about that. If this is an example, hypothetical, I'm thinking what they would be thinking. Okay, from 10,000 demand, they've gone to maybe 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. They don't have the capacity to manufacture that in Italy, let alone labor. They don't have labor. You're not going to have 200 people willing to sit and make your thing. The next best people who can produce up to your standard of quality is China. So sensibly, they've gone to them.
Right.
Very sensibly. It's not that this was a very strategic and premeditated move and said, "Oh, we're out to con. Let's do this. Let's get on to conning the entire world and let's ruin it forever." It wasn't. It was a very organic step. The next step. That's what happened, and then it just got easier, and that's how it just unfolded to this.
And
this is what I think happened.
Also, as an economy, I am really proud of them that they're not depending upon. What if they're not fearing that if US imposes unreasonable tariffs on them, they are not fearing that they'll go out of the business. They're so ready to dump their excessive production to other countries. And I really don't know. I have serious questions about authenticity of these reels, but I'm really not even bothered. I'm not even thinking in that direction. I always see a good part and the bad part of the story, and this could be these countries where these reciprocal tax is implemented. It could be any part of the world, because US being US,
no, but I'm also
actually
thinking,
do
okay,
anything,
let's say we're doubting the authenticity of these reels. No major brand has come out and said that this is wrong. This is false. Not a single brand. Have you come across a reel saying that
Not
no, this
yet.
is
We might
falsified?
see them.
We're hoping. It's just been 72 hours. So let's see. I mean, till now, maybe they're just preparing what their PR is going to be.
Yeah.
But let's wait and watch. That's all I can say. And then I guess we'll need to have another podcast discussing this aspect.
But you also know in 1970, they called something as quartz crisis.
Yes.
So quartz crisis was when all the Swiss-made watches were doing fantastically good, and all of a sudden quartz watches come from Japan, and they were like challenging the market, and prices of the watches start going down. What they did, instead of going with the flow, they actually raised the price and they came up with automatic watches. And all of a sudden they got back their place where what they want to be known for, their rarity, their mechanism, how well they are perceived in the market. And there's something gonna happen with the luxury brand, I feel. I personally feel this is temporary. Even US want to have ties with these brands and nations. It will not go so random with the tariffs. Also, something is same happening with the lab grown and natural.
What do you lab grown? I mean, it's so
I know
tired
we're
of that
so
debate.
done.
I'm so
We're not
tired of that
debating. We're
debate.
not debating. I'm just telling you that this could be a temporary business move. Then how?
100%.
And I would say it won't take long for people to actually have better understanding of these two.
I think this is happening for a reason. Earlier, no one thought for themselves. This is happening. The universe is putting this across to consumers and saying everything's in your hands now. You're not tied and bound by, if I need a designer bag, I have to just pop into the store. The transparency, it's telling the consumer, this was what was happening to you all this while, whether you can afford it or whether you cannot afford
Yeah.
it. But this was what was happening. It was smokes and mirrors. And now we're giving you the baton.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to play these cards?
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that. Now the consumers need to be smart enough to know how to take this forward. That is it. But the problem is, this is the masses. The masses do not want to think for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you this from personal experience, because I know my clients and I keep telling my women, please think for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what it's giving you a chance. I mean, consumers, people, please take this. It is on a platter. Use your head.
Yeah.
Do all your research. Study. You've got Chat GPT today. Everything spits out in 3 seconds. You've got answers at your fingertips. Take it, make your own decisions. Change the industry. Let's go through transparency. Let's go through, I don't know, just things being real and authentic. No smokes and mirrors anymore.
Moreover, being in the business for so long, for us as people who represent business, it was never a debate for us. It was more of an how to navigate now in challenging times. I have done so many podcasts on this now. I honestly really don't want to use any more lab grown and natural for all the good reasons. But I really say this a lot, that the natural diamond industry was not ready enough ever to, they were very comfortable with their one campaign, Diamond is Forever, and they sat back forever. And but yeah, I'm like, and the moment they found need, they're literally going left, right, center. Have you seen the new campaigns they're coming up with?
Which diamond?
National Diamond Council is coming up with new campaigns. They came up with a beautiful campaign. I personally love it. It's called Dad with Love, with Love Dad, and they're promoting second piercing.
Okay.
Yeah. So dad is taking the daughter to jeweler and getting the second piercing
I haven't
done.
been seeing that.
And big budget this year to promote natural diamonds.
Perfectly fine. I think natural diamonds are an investment at the end of the day. They are. You have it rare, like you have it colored. They are an investment. Bide your time. They're like stocks that have gone down.
Yeah.
Wait another 50 years. Don't. This is the thing. You know, when you act out of fear and lack, you're going to look desperate.
Moreover, none of the investments are short term.
No
Anything
investment.
is giving
That's why it's
good
called
returns,
an investment.
I think, except gold, right?
But now have you seen silver's taking center stage?
Silver
So it's that. Just don't be greedy. And I think this is what's happening. All of this is coming up to the surface. This disruption that's happening is because it's just levering out the status quo. Like, just don't be greedy. Be grateful. Like, move from greed to gratitude. And everything's just going to fall into place. Works well.
Going back to your factory visit to Hong Kong, where you're getting your watches made, were they also manufacturing for all, as you rightly said, that they're manufacturing for other brands too?
Yes, I did see the other brands being made there.
And what was the price differential?
30 to 50%. No, 30 to 50% of all the watches in the market are being made there.
Okay.
Like the ones that, you buy for $10,000 and between the $10,000 and $50,000 range, they're all being made there. And it's not only watches. I think now this is with everybody. It's with every design, like be it bags, be it jewelry, be it anything. What have you been paying for all this while? If you're going to be getting, now with the confidentiality clause removed, they are going to give you premium quality.
Yeah.
They're going to give you the exact quality at 70% off the market rate. They're going to be doing that for you.
I was going through certain figures lately, and there was an article that said the markup on the bag price is more than 2,600%.
Unbelievable.
So the cost of Birkin is 1,400.
But I don't know if Birkins are being made there.
Yeah.
That I'm still having a big question mark.
There's very strong resistance on this by
I have a
Birkin
question mark
fanatics,
with Birkins, yeah.
because they have around
or maybe
16
because I own a Birkin. I refuse to believe it's being made.
They say there are 15 to 16 manufacturing units in France for Birkin.
Exactly. That I refuse to believe, and I cannot. I mean, you cannot say anything until it's corroborated. It better be corroborated. But I'm talking about everything else, like apparently makeup. And okay, fine. This I could believe. Chanel does the plastic pearls. And I used to always say this. I have clients saying, oh, I never wear fake. And then I see them wearing Chanel plastic pearls and the Chanel brooches. that's not gold, and that's not real pearls, and that's not real diamonds. This synthetic stuff. So yeah, you're wearing something fake just because Chanel has slapped a logo onto it. So it's ridiculous. But apparently, even those things are being manufactured in China. The costume jewelry that these high brands are dishing out. So
I really honestly cannot wait to hear from
I
these
can't
brands.
wait for this, whether it's corroborated or no. In fact, I'm thinking now that I need to set up a larger factory in China, because my factory in Hong Kong is really small and demand's rising. I think I'm just going to make a trip to all these places and do stuff. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this.
That would be so interesting.
I know.
Know from them that if really some brands are reaching out to them for revisiting the agreement, or is that factory is being told to keep their mouth shut?
The Chinese government is protecting them. So this is it. I mean, it's such exciting times. Such exciting. It's exciting for small designers like us, because now people understand what the whole definition of luxury and bespoke has been upheavaled. And it's people like us who have been dishing this out for so long. This is authentic luxury that we are dishing out. And just because we have such a small space in the industry, no one's listening to us. So maybe this is our time now.
I agree. I quite agree with you. And why not?
Listen, when something, as an entrepreneur, when something turns up, always see the good in it and take advantage of it. This is what I believe.
and would you have to say something about how this strong feeling of nationalism is coming into Indian brands, or I would say brands based in India? Sabyasachi did a podcast with Business of Fashion, Imran, and he was saying that South Asia is coming more stronger than ever. This is very much visible now. All the latest brand launches, be it Bulgari, you just name it, and they're Bulgari did an event in Cambodia, and I was like, wow.
Who would know? I'll tell you, let's talk about India exclusively. People did not know this right from our diamonds have been exported or been taken. For, I think for a good 50 to 60 years, Chanel and Dior and maybe one or two other design houses have been all the embroidery. Everything they've been using Indian artisans. Like Chanakya, they are the biggest embroiderers for Chanel and Dior, or one of the two. I don't have my facts correct on that, but I know this. No one's been saying anything. We're Indians. We have everything going for us. And now we have global recognition. So this is the time we are so proud of ourselves. And I think kudos to Indians for doing this. Our sense of nationalism it's high time we took it. It's high time we reclaimed it.
And I think we've been, over the years, I would say, rightly so, from days before independence, we're so whitewashed since then that now we're realizing that,
we've come into our own, our sense of self-worth. We've grown as a nation. We've grown as each person. So it is so beautiful to watch. It is just so beautiful to watch where India is going.
Also a bit sad, it's very late for us, I would say, but
maybe the time is right, because maybe we are ready.
Yeah.
The world may not be ready, but we are ready for what we are about to offer.
Are you doing any kind of sourcing from India?
Yes. In fact, all my... my forte is I do wedding trousseaux, and we start a year before the wedding date. We sit and we match whatever with the dress, we design, we do everything. So I could offer mainly international jewelry, but I couldn't offer Indian jewelry because I hadn't found those workshops when I started back then. The mentality wasn't matching with me. The sense of like Hong Kong, I give a quotation where I don't even need to travel most of the time. We're virtually designing and everything. And in 2 hours, I get my quotation. In about 5 hours, I get everything ready, everything sourced, blah, blah, blah. It's perfection in 3 hours flat. And I called the Indian workshop, and it's been 3 days. There's been no news. And then sometimes half the CAD and CAM is ready and the 3D printout is given, and they're like, it's left for 15 days like this. Why? We don't work on these days. The Karigar has left. I couldn't work. Now, I just went to Jaipur last month, met with this workshop. I was blown away. The boy was barely 25 years old. And it was brilliant. And I said, thank you. It's for people like you. Normally, you all would have been engineers and you all would have been exported. But you all have decided to do this here. The craftsmanship, the professionalism, the Indian culture that he embodied, speaking fluent English, understood everything I said. And I was like, I called up two of my clients and I said, I can now offer you Indian jewelry as well. It was liberating. And then what is trending, apart from the natural stones, is the lab, not the lab diamonds, but the lab emeralds, the lab rubies, the lab paraibas, the tourmalines.
It is so underrated, but and by
And
the
the
way,
factory in Jaipur, two brother and sister, young as hell. They're both again in their 20s. I was so impressed with what they were churning out.
wow,
And I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. It was a revelation for me.
so cool to know.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Azzal, I'm really intrigued by how things are happening in India. It's super fast. People are spending big bomb money on weddings. What was your observations in your last visit to India? And do you think you can line down some trends, wedding trends?
Trends, Indians
watch
are
it.
going very global because, again, the brides know what they want. They want things that are reassembled, like a brooch should be worn as a pendant, and it can be also customized into earrings. Like I've created something really amazing. There are these, actually, it's a very vintage thing. It goes as a brooch. No one's ever thought to wear them as earrings, and I've actually made them as earrings as well. So it's a his and hers. He can wear them on his sherwani.
Wow.
The girl can wear it as earrings when, you know, you've got to go for a wedding and then you can't pack so much of jewelry. So this is what you do. And unisex is working brilliantly. And it doesn't need to look typically Indian. It doesn't need to look very Western. There has to be an amalgamation of both. So that's the trend. And it's not just diamonds. Emeralds are big now. Tourmalines are big. Paraibas have taken center stage. So it's exciting. And because paraibas are very rare, lab is coming into the picture. And because they're wearing things just for statement value, they don't mind wearing lab and they don't mind even saying it. This is so brilliant. So you have mothers and daughters arguing, please don't tell anybody. And the daughter's like, what the hell? You know, it's like, this is not important. What's important is how the entire ensemble looks. So perspectives are changing, psychology is changing, and it's so exciting for us as designers to do this. I want to work with paraibas and I want to work with tourmalines and not just diamonds and log kya kahenge. Oh my God, if another person says that to me, I'm going to die. Log kya kahenge in English means what will people think?
Dubai is more than versatile. What are your demands from Dubai? What Dubai bride wants?
I don't know, but it's fortunately, we're very designer conscious. It has to have a brand backing it. It's really, really important for them. And my clients are super affluent, so they can afford anything that's thrown at them. But now they're getting smarter and they want to make the replicas of major brands. Like, so something that's costing 6 million, they don't mind replicating and wearing it because no one would ever question their authority on that. And that aside, there are a lot of them willing to even say that it's not the original. So this is brilliant. And now I think if most of them are going to know that a lot of stuff is being assembled in China, I think I'm waiting to see what those answers, you know, what those behind the closed doors discussions are going to be with me. It's exciting.
It's also exciting. Out of curiosity, I asked one of my high jeweler who just sells privately. And I asked him, what's the differential in preferences of customers nowadays? So imagine mother who would be collector probably, or just buying big diamonds from you, 20 carats and above, how their children interact with you. I got such an interesting answer. He said two things. The mother comes and cry in front of the jeweler in absence of the daughter. Daughter who walks in the jeweler wearing Lululemon, ask for a versatile and wearable options that she don't want to collect or treasure. She want to put it on for the cocktail, go out on birthdays. And
absolutely. I mean, now this generation has become, they're Birkin collectors. They're not stone collectors. They're Birkin collectors, car collectors, art collectors. As women, he wants crypto. She wants what men want now. I think it's education. Women know what they want. Women research. My clients research so much before they walk into my store. And sometimes I think, okay, now I need to educate them. And no, not at all. It's brilliant because then we quickly get onto the same page. I skip at least 2 meetings. So it's quicker and it's intelligent. I love it. And I learn as well. I know what's trending, what's not. And as jewelers, we need to catch up. We need to quicken the pace. We need to adapt. I'm loving it. Makes me think out of the box, makes my artisans think out of the box. I like it. I'm loving it.
More so, did you ever receive a request if you can accept the payment in crypto?
Oh, yes, of course. And I was like, let me just get ready. But I quickly got onto my tech team and I said, could you hook this onto my website?
Yeah.
Let's try doing this. I was like, if I'm getting inquiries in crypto, I cannot lose the sale. It was very high sale. Very high
For
ticket.
in general, I think we're still living under the rock. Can you break it down in very simple language for anyone who wants to receive payments or deal in crypto? Do you have your own crypto
You have to
account?
have a wallet, yes.
Yeah.
Have a wallet. You just find anybody. I think just put it down in the link. Anybody, I'll give you a person that we could trust. Get your wallet ready. Hook your thing onto your website. Or you can just do a transaction. And my first was a Russian client.
Mhm.
And I had to translate all the conversation from Russian to English, Russian to English. And, the first thing is like, should we really do this? And then I was like, of course we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Why not? So I got my team to make my wallet and we executed it. And thank God we did that because now we're getting so many more inquiries. And yes, I'm not losing out because of that.
And did you encash that amount?
It's still sitting in my wallet. I'm not going to encash.
But in case you have to, you can encash that?
I don't know. I cannot tell you that because I haven't done that. But then I guess you could sell it. I do jewelry. I have a finance person that handles my finances. I have someone else who handles something else. So if you want that answer, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. How do we go about that?
I had a discussion recently with Isa from Emirates Minting, and I asked him if ETFs are good. He was like, I'm a gold man and I know not, I trust what is tangible. So
again, that comes with taking a risk and I'm all for it. Maybe because I am a new jeweler and I've just been barely 5 years into this business. If I was possibly with this 20 years and having a high inventory, I do understand that because I do see people with high inventories of diamonds, especially natural diamonds.
Yes.
They are scared. They're like, what do we do with all this inventory? So they need something tangible back. They're living, I think it's fear. Just that, for so long you were dominating this market and now you don't know where you stand.
Yes.
And I've never had these. So I'm such a risk taker because I don't have so much of inventory. So I guess that's what it is.
I love that take. You're going all in with your business.
If you don't, take a risk. Why not? At the end of the day, you'll just be without money, but then you have so much more to offer. Like if money is everything, then obviously you are operating from a state of lack and fear. And I don't want to ever operate from that.
This whole discussion was very 2025-ish.
I know.
I would say, I think even I've never picked up these topics before. Do you have a final message to the audience of the Jewellery Pod? I'm very sure we're going to get lots of random comments.
I'm waiting, bring it on.
But as a one piece of good advice that you would love to give.
You have diamonds, you have natural diamonds, don't stress. Absolutely don't stress if you have natural diamonds. Save them, keep them. They're long-term investments. In the next 7 to 8 years, this market's going to figure out what it is. And it's natural at the end of the day. It is going to hold value. So don't stress. Natural diamonds will always hold their value. I'm not talking about that 1 and 2 carats. I'm talking about the 5+, and I'm talking about all your colored diamonds. So think of them as art. It will appreciate. It will always appreciate. That's one thing I've said. The second thing is, as you change with times and as everyone else is, don't wear jewelry for other people. Just wear it for yourself. I've said this from the day I started this business. Wear jewelry for yourself. Don't think of what other people are going to think of you. Have fun with your jewelry. Don't take it so seriously.
That was great advice.
Thank you.
This was a conversation with Azzal, who is dealing with real-time luxury and have inside-out information about this. I'm so happy that I could finally do this. I'm excited to bring more podcasts to you on the same lines. There would be many things unfolding. We have still 90 days before Mr. Trump's comment comes as final statement for the industry. There would be many more things changing. We need to be ready for this. Are we really ready for this? We would get to know soon. Be patient and subscribe to our channel, The Jewellery Pod. Interact in comments. Let us know what you'd love to hear next, and we'll surely bring it to you. Till then, we meet again.